It's your boy, Mr. Stay Positive, with Mikey T, the movie star, on Report Card Radio.
It's Mikey T, the movie star. I'm here today with Mr. Staying Positive, man. I want to welcome you to Report Card Radio.
Yo, man, a pleasure to be here, man. Thank you.
Yo, man, why don't you just tell the people a little bit about yourself and what it is that you actually do?
So if you guys haven't checked out my Instagram, it's Mr.StayPositive_. What I do is I do a positive motivational content that relates to business, relates to personal attributes of you growing as a person, and even anybody from any type of struggle. It doesn't matter if you come from an urban community or a suburb area. I teach you about business, credit. I teach you about anything that you need to know as far as getting money legally.
You know, most people are led to motivational speaking through hardships of their own. What did you have to go through that led you to where you are today?
To be totally honest, man, I came from a home that I really didn't have much, man. I lived off food stamps, Section 8. My father was like stuck on drugs, so it was only a one income type of household. And my dad and my mom, on the other hand, she didn't work. She didn't graduate high school. My brother, he didn't graduate high school. I was the only one that graduated in high school and excelled, went to college. But what I learned is when I was growing up in my neighborhood is that a lot of families is like that. So my story is normal in my neighborhood. It's not really like something abnormal, like, oh, all right, you and a million other people in the urban community. But I use that to my advantage, as motivation for me to be better and live better. So, like I used to see people in my neighborhood always like sell drugs and like do penny pinching type hustles. And I looked at it like, man, that's not really making no money. Like, you get caught up after your 5th year selling drugs. And then if you last longer than that, your name don't really ring no bells in the neighborhood because you got a whole new generation trying to try you. Or you just turn into one of them old heads that's basically on the corner living off old memories. So my hardship thing with my life was more like, I want to be known more than that. I want to make a difference in my community. But like, I didn't want people to try me or think that I was soft. So I went a different route. Everybody respects the person that has money, respects the person that is a positive role model, respects somebody that makes a difference in the community. So that's why I do what I do.
So, who were some of the speakers that you listened to that inspired you when you needed that motivation?
One of the people that I speak to, I liked it honestly. Robert Greene. So he's an author. That was one of my favorite books. Some of my favorite motivational speakers was like Gary Vee, Trent Shelton. Uh, Nipsey Hussle was definitely one of them. Chameleonaire, a lot of people don't know, but Chameleonaire is an entrepreneur as well, and he gives a lot of great motivational speeches. Young Jeezy is another one. Just a lot of my motivation people in my life is basically musical, honestly, because they represent what I like and where I came from. So, and for them to transition to entrepreneurship and motivational and inspiring people, I think that's really dope.
So tell me about taking your message online, man. What progress have you made since taking your message online?
So the progress I made so far is that I reached out to so many different types of people, man. Like I reached out to people besides my own neighborhood. I reached out to a couple celebrities, Young Jeezy, Chameleonaire, Bill Collector, um, even Matt Hoffa. A couple of these artists checked me out and they really liked what I was trying to do. I networked with them, linked up with them. And what made me go online was just like I was always good with networking. So, in my neighborhood, I always knew this person that was beefing with that person, but I always was the guy, the middleman that kind of like brought them together and be like, listen, we could be more powerful as a team than versus individually being beefing with each other. So I felt like online worked out for me because it requires a lot of networking. It requires a lot of, linking up with people. So that worked out for me. And, my content is not just one thing. It's very broad, you know what I mean? So stay positive could be anything. It could be self-motivation, self-esteem, or self-awareness. So that's what makes my content so different from everybody else because everybody's trying to do the same thing, same lane. Me, I'm just really more broad about it. You know what I'm saying? I want people to really understand that positivity can bring a lot to you when you speak it to the universe.
You know, You know, obviously right now with what's going on, it's relatively impossible, but do you have any plans to speak in front of live crowds or the, you know?
Yeah, definitely do. In the near future, once everything clears up with the COVID-19, I definitely would like to and love to speak to people in crowds. The last thing that I did, as far as speaking in crowds, was my old high school. So I went back to my old high school, spoke to the kids, and went out there and spoke to all the little kids out there, tell them, follow your dreams, pursue yourself, and just stay motivated. But yeah, big crowds, man. I think that's really one of the things that I would like to do more because I want people to see me more and get more exposure. Because I'm way more than just behind the computer screen. So a lot of people see my content, and they, a lot of people think like, oh, you just online content, which is fascinating. But I do in person. I do a lot of one-on-one with young students and young kids.
So you mentioned that music was a very important part of what you do. Have you done anything with your work to impact the hip hop independent market?
Yes. So, I give people a lot of I have this thing called Word of the Day. So at one point I was giving a lot of independent artists a lot of tips on Word of the Day, as far as being like independent, not really accepting the deal because a lot of these deals is hitting you with 360s. They're giving you $5,000 up front, but you paying that back within 3 to 4 albums. And if your album don't sell, they take everything from you. You know what I mean? From commercial rap, from your movie deal, from your studio time, everything you get in charge for. So, that advance is not really your money, it's a loan. And that's how I relate my content to hip hop as far as independent artists. Like, you know, when you own your own business, you own everything. You just got to know the process. The same thing being an independent artist, you own everything. When you sign to somebody, they giving you a loan. So it's just like you applying for a business loan. That's a rap deal. You applying, you getting a loan out, and when you take the loan out, they expecting that money back with interest. Rather it's your royalties, rather it's your assets, rather it's whatever you have, they trying to get that money right back and get their profit. You know, and now record companies is getting smart because now they see us, not really using album sales. Now we're using digital marketing. So they're like, all right, fine. We'll take your digital marketing, your ringtones, your streams, whatever, just for us to get our money back. Even if you go to movie deals and commercials and whatever else you get, sponsorship deals, we taking that too because we need our money back. So that's why I always tell people like really signing the deal is like signing your life over to a loan.
So if we're looking at hip hop in specific, who would you say are some of the most inspiring entrepreneurs and why?
One of the most inspiring entrepreneurs, to be honest with you, is a couple. E40, Chameleon, of course, Young Jeezy, 50 Cent, Jay-Z. The list goes on, man. Like a lot of these rappers that I grew up to are entrepreneurs now because they getting hip to the game as far as like how hip hop works. Like these record companies are bloodsuckers. So what they do is they offer you a deal. Say, hey, listen, maybe a 20-80 where you only get 20% of your profit, and they get 80% of your profit, and they spend on you, and they just turn around and try to hit you with, listen, we need this by 3 albums. So now you get 100,000, all that for $100,000, and you get the $100,000, but yet you probably worth more than that. Another inspiring rapper that's an entrepreneur, and it's one of my favorites. A lot of people sleep on him. Is Master P. That's one of my favorite ones, man. Master P is the originator of the blueprint of entrepreneurship as far as hip hop. I mean, if anybody want to look him up from the beginning to the end of what he's been doing, that man is different, and that's what I respect the most. Really, honestly, is Master P.
And yo, let everybody know where they can find you, all social media.
They also can find me online. www.staypositive.shop. I sell T-shirts on there. I sell my whole catalog is on there. So if you really want to check me out and support the content, support the brand, check me out on www.staypositive.shop.com.